Hi, my name is Ilma and welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to share 1 Corinthians 11 verses 10 to 16. I've been posting Christian blogs for nine straight years now. And so here's the Word of God. Therefore, the woman should have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. However, in the Lord, neither is woman independent of man, nor is man independent of women. For as the woman originated from the man, so also the man has his birth through the woman, and all things originate from God. Judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a woman to pray to God with her head uncovered? Does even nature itself not teach you that if a man has long hair, it is a dishonor to him? But if a woman has long hair, it is a glory to her. For her hair is given to her as a covering. But if anyone is inclined to be contentious, we have no such practice, nor have the churches of God. 1 Corinthians 11, 10 to 16. And here's my blog. Importance of keeping God's order. In these following passages of Paul's letter to the Corinthian believers, he expounds further on the symbol of authority on the woman's head. Previous to these verses, Paul declares the importance of wearing a head covering for women as a symbol of her submission to the man who is the authority in her life in accordance to God's order of creation. Paul mentions the importance of interdependence between man and woman in verse 11. What he is saying here is that a woman cannot be independent from man, and a man cannot be independent of woman. The woman was created to be the man's helper, but it doesn't mean that he is higher than her. They are created equal according to Genesis 1, but they are both created for a certain role different from each other. The man is the head and the woman is the one who needs to submit to the head. No one is supposed to change the order that God has made and the specific roles they each one plays. This detailed explanation of Paul regarding this interdependence gives us a glimpse of God of the God of order whom we serve. In verses 13 to 16, he presents to them the question whether it is right for a woman to be without head covering and what happens if they exchange roles in their relationships. If the man wears the long hair, it would be dishonoring to him, but if it is a woman who wears the long hair, it is to the man's glory. It says in verse 15 that it was given to the woman to have the long hair and not the man. What Paul is pointing out here is the focus on the order and differences of roles that God has assigned to the man and the woman. Paul further explains that if someone wants to raise a controversy about this order, they must keep it to themselves or they will bring about conflicts. Reflection. Why is God's order something that a believer ought to follow? It is such a sad thing to watch how there's so much disorder in this world. In the 60s, women started working outside of their homes. And then the order got disarranged. In other words, women sought to work just like men do, and they start to neglect their roles as a homekeeper, as a homemaker. So it's important that someone is taking care of the children, taking care of the needs of the family at home, so that when the husband comes home, there is there's a place of order. There's order, but since the world has dictated certain rules and traditions and disordered roles in society, what happened is that we are living in a world of too much chaos, too much disorganized. So, and then the roles are interchanged because there are some men who stays home and take care of the children, and some women working outside. I'm not saying that this is wrong. What I'm saying is that it is it is not what God intended it to be. So when things that God created is created for something and it's used for something else, there's going to be trouble. There's going to be disorder. So even when you try to use let's say an example is like you use an appliance and you don't use it the right way, the way it's made, then that appliance won't last. The same thing with our Creator who made us in His image, and if we if we do not use our gifts or use our roles as God intended it to be, there will be trouble. So I encourage you to reflect on the importance of keeping God's order, because there is peace, there's no conflict in God's order, because the conflict comes from the world. Remember the sin of Adam and Eve, where there was so much order before they sinned, because they were given everything that they needed, and yet they clamored to want something more than what they were given. So the order that God has, in other words, like when God created Adam first in His image, and then He created Eve also in His image, but then in this case, Eve has a purpose of serving the husband or the man. So when the fall of Adam and Eve happened, there was a curse after that Eve is going to want to take control of the husband. So when that happens, the order is interchanged. In other words, the woman want to have the authority that the husband has, and so by doing that, the order was disarranged. So this is why Jesus came to save us from this disorder, from this chaos. So we must cling to Jesus so that we will be able to get that peace that only comes from knowing God and knowing Christ, and that only comes from following God's order. Thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ilma'S.com for artworks and photographs and a copy of this blog. And I hope you subscribe to my channel on YouTube so I could make more videos for the Lord. And I hope that you will, that you are blessed by this blog. Thanks for watching.